Benigea to the union of Asa Azman. The Rambam writes, Hilchos Shuvah writes, Lecheli, Leirov, Leimulchama. And Hilchos Malachim he writes, Lekinu, Leimulacha, Leirov, Leimulchama, Lekinu, Leisachros. The Rabbi asked, why the difference? So here he doesn't say Lekinu, Leisachros, and here he says, Lecheli. So the Rebbe answers basically that the difference between Hilchos Shuvah and Hilchos Malachim is Hilchos Shuvah is regarding the time before Mashiach. And the Eibusha says he's going to take away all the things that don't let us learn Torah and help us with all the good things to be able to learn Torah. Speaks about Hilchos Malachim is regarding to Yemei Mashiach already. So then there won't be any sickness because people will be doing everything what it says in Shulchan Aruch. It says in Rambam. The Rambam teaches what to do in order that we shouldn't have sicknesses. The Rambam writes that whoever is going to follow his way of doing things. So since people are doing what it says in Torah, there's no reason to bavorin that leyavel dechil. And also the Rebbe says since speaking about time of Mashiach, and it's in times of Mashiach, it will be the unity of Hashem will be revealed. I think that's what he said. Therefore, it's not two things. Since the Eibusher is one, so also his impacts in the world is also one. So the fact that it's going to be good, we're not going to have any bad, it's going to be an outcome of the good that's going to be coming to us, towards us. Not the Hilchos Shuvah, which over there is two pratim. One of them that's Yasir and Kol Amenim, and then also Yashpil and Kol Tevis. Another thing he says, we have all the Madanim, but Madanim is the Yonim Gashmim. So therefore he says, how Shaykh the Mesa Mashiach we should be excited about the Yonim Gashmim, which is Divrei Avoy veHevel the Rambam writes. So to take this away, the Rambam says that it's only Mitzvim Ka'offer. It's not going to be any value. And the only reason for Madanim is in order that this body should be healthy and complete in the ultimate way. Omnom Chavzain. Omnom.
What does Madanim have to do with health?
Because he says every type of pleasure. He explained that every type of pleasure, everyone should be completely pleasurable.
If everybody has, if it's offered, what pleasure can have?
It's going to be offered. That means you're not going to see this as an ikir. I think that's what he means.
No, but the value of a diamond is because nobody has it. You have it also, it's red. But if everybody has it, it's offered.
So no one's going to be special. No one's going to be special at all. Ched the Shaila.
There's intrinsic in the value itself.
There's, I don't know if it's speaking about dafke diamonds. There's things that people derive pleasure from. I don't know because they're the only ones that have it. He says before that there's
a good piece of cake you could enjoy, someone else can have it too.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe because of the beauty, whatever. I'm not going into it. There's yesh la'ayim. Yeah, okay. No, but we're holding over here. But me, some Mashiach will not shapalaz shalom tzizayla magila taras shlemuzo veza kamshabo. Kanal barichas. When is this all true? In the days of Mashiach, when the time of the impact of the mitzvahs in the world's entity comes its ultimate completion, and the two impacts that it has, the positive impact and the negative impact. So it has both impacts in the world. Kanal barichas. What's the inyan of the impact of the what is it talking about in Hilchos Shuvah? The inyan hashpos hateva v'asaros hadvarim ameinim urak l'manesha pluim limud b'chochma. But in the time of Hilchos Shuvah, which is speaking before Mashiach, why is they giving us good and taking away the things that are holding us back from learning Torah? Is only in order to be able to sit clear-headed and learn Chochma. It's not because the world is complete. Therefore, you don't need to have Madanim. It's only an union of pleasure. And the contrary, the Rebbe says this is going to be over in your shaila. If the world's not b'shleimus, if the world's not the ultimate completion, that they don't recognize that the chshivus of Madanim is only like earth. So the contrary, not only that it's not going to help, it's going to be a disturbance to learning Torah, doing mitzvahs. Well, in case of reaction, that's when Hilchos Shuvah doesn't mention Madanim. ומכיוון שחוסר אצל מדען וכייצא בזה, ברי אצל חבר שהורגל בהם, ועד לורץ לפניו, a friend does have it. He's used to having it, so he's going to have it. He doesn't have it. It's by Yemesa Mashiach, the world could handle it, he's saying now. Now, this is the Hilchos Tshuvos. Before Yemesa Mashiach, we don't have Madanim B'chlal. Because Madanim is extra. Yemesa Mashiach, because the world's going to be complete, everything's going to be there, we're not going to be nothing missing in the world. Why is it not going to be mevalvel to Torah mitzvahs, learn Torah, doing mitzvahs? Is because we're in a state that we don't value it as an inyan for. It's just not going to take us away from learning. It's two sides of the sword. So it looks like, yeah. For one hand, we're saying that we have to have it. On the other hand, we're saying that's only going to be ka'offer. He's brought Shalom b'tachlis. But in other words, like this, it's in order to enhance my learning. When I'm at my best, I could learn better. But not that I see it for the ultimate thing of value for itself. It has no value. Its only value is that it's going to help me learn. But before Mashiach comes, it could be mevalvel. We don't, since we're not holding the time of Mashiach now. So therefore, we don't see it as kol kuli is to help me learn and daven. It's only, we could see it for a thing for itself. Therefore, it's mevalvel. Therefore, it doesn't say, that's what it says, but the but someone that is used to having madanim, it's going to make him not be able to focus, so to speak, not be able to learn well. So he needs to have it. He's going to have to have a slave running in front of him when he goes in the streets. And it becomes with him a thing which is therefore it's given to his friend, but not to the person that doesn't have it. Because by him it's richness, so madanim. So therefore, in the times before Mashiach, there's place for envy and tachrus. How do you say tachrus in English again? Competition. And the male there's place for also for hunger and war, because we want to get what the other person has. That the Eibush is going to take away from us these things, hunger and war. Viyash, that's one thing he's going to accomplish in the times of before Mashiach. When a person wants to learn, he's going to take away from us. We shouldn't feel bad that someone else has it, we don't have it. You can see this mamish l'chura l'shein from the Rebbe. I'm just saying the way I think. Maybe I'm wrong. And he's also going to give us a second thing. He's going to give us all the goods. And the second thing he's going to give us in the time before Mashiach, in order that we should be able to learn Torah, which he's going to besides take away from us our envy and war. And he doesn't say envy, he says just war and hunger. He's going to take it away from us in order that we shouldn't have a bad feeling. That's going to take us away from learning, and also going to give us all the goods, which is not in order to take away the things that hold us back from learning. It's a separate inyan. It's going to strengthen our learning Torah. It's a positive inyan. So that's why it's not seen as one thing. It's seen as two things. Okay. Epsazeh. So this is all explaining the difference between Hilchos Tshuvah and Hilchos Malachim. What's happening? Hilchos Tshuvah. I don't know where I am. How do you close this? Is before Mashiach and Hilchos Malachim is Yemesa Mashiach. That's the basic difference. Therefore, in Yemesa Mashiach, we'll have everything, even if we don't need it, and it's just to make us the ultimate complete existence. Before Mashiach, we don't have that. Therefore, we don't say Kol Madanim, Mitzuyin Ka'ofer. And it's also not going to be able to be Mitzuyin Ka'ofer before Mashiach. Therefore, it's going to be Kinei V'Sachrus. That's the beer in the question. He doesn't, even though he doesn't spell it out, but he takes away Melchama V'Rov. He says that he is going to take away, because there should be, and the Eibush is going to Afal B'Kein, still null. He's going to take away from us hunger and war. Why? Because he's gonna give us a good feeling for others. We shouldn't feel envious. Although he doesn't say envious, he's not going to take away, but the war is going to be not there. The hunger is not going to be there.
Why don't we compare the two to begin with?
Because the Lashon is very similar.
Just because the Lashon is similar, that's why we...
A lot of things he says is very similar. Yeah, the Le'esikale that we're going to be occupying learning. It's similar, but it's not similar. You're saying after the Rebbe specifies how different it is, one's before Mashiach, one's Yemei Mashiach. The question is, what's the Chatchila, that's at the Shava? But Pash the Ram, you could think that there's something very similar. It's why the difference? He says it's two different times. Fine. Now we're going to go to the Masbir, the end of the Rambam, Mamish. Not where it compares to Hilchos Tshuva, rather the end of the Rambam for itself. In the end of the completion of the work of the Rambam, the entire Rambam is gate like idea about Mashiach. The Rambam describes the great knowledge of Hashem, which is going to be in the time of Mashiach. So they're going to be very wise, the Jews, and they're going to know things that are hidden, that not known for anybody beforehand.
So basically, it's going to be equal.
You want to know if every person will feel in your name?
Yeah, that is
a good question.
Why would you say that?
No, because that's a good answer.
No.
Okay, that's all.
We'll see. So the Rebbe says we see three things over here. It specifies here three concepts. Aleph, that will know hidden things. Beis, Gimel, it's going to be kfi kech adam. But lahavin, maya idea b'dvarim astum shegami prat b'molors de esavai shein klul b'sigudas beinem. What is the knowledge and hidden things, which is also part of knowing the Eibishter, which is not included in knowing the Creator? So obviously it's even higher, it seems like. Like he said before in one of the orders, that there's motzi and any motzi. He says, Yedisigodas Beiram, the way the Eibishter are creators, motzi, mamtzi kol nimtza. Dvarim astumim is the fact that the Eibishter is any motzi. Let's see what he says over here. Beis manegeh kan leisiv sheideh ba'avai yichili is rak vikech adam. Shezel shaykh lichas idiyas Hashem shebreisha sefer. To say that it's going to be only that, how much we could possibly understand. What's the gay over here? It's only gay to the halachas of knowing the Eibishter, what's brought in the beginning of the Rambam.
And not more than Kech Adam.
And not more, that's what's mashma. How could it be more? The Eibishter could give more.
No, that's why I'm asking.
The Eibishter could give.
Kech Adam now, or maybe there'll be more and there'll be Kech Adam then.
Even then will be kfi kech adam. You see the kech adam of the person.
But that's obviously
that's the Rebbe is going to ask right away. That's a clear question. What's the chiddush over here? It's impossible to know more. So why does the Rambam have to specify it? It's not something that it's not. When you tell a person, you have to try to figure out Hashem as much as you could. But over here, it's something we're telling us that we're going to be Yedin Varam Sevisik Das Bein. We'll find out exactly how it's going to be. And Bechlal, what do you have to tell me? What's the only geya over here to tell me which type of Yedin it's going to be? It's Nechura not negay to know now. What's negay now to know that it's going to be Kfikech Adam exactly how it's going to be, and how could it possibly be more than that, like you're asking? Gimel, Gam B'Hilchos Tshuva Medubar Dvar Yediyah B'Havai Shti B'Meis HaMashiach. Hilchos Tshuva also speaks about the knowledge of Hashem, which is going to be taka in the days of Mashiach. Gam Shom K'B'Hilchos Malachim maybe Rayla Zeh Shenam K'Mol Arz Deis Havai Avol B'Hilchos Tshuva maybe Rak Satevim K'Mol Arz Deis Havai V'Hilchos B'Hilchos Malachim maybe Gam Sima Kosov Kamayim Gam Mechasim. He says in Hilchos Tshuva he brings also about knowledge of Hashem, just like Hilchos Malachim, and he brings the same proof, the pasuk K'Mol Arz Deis Havai. But in Hilchos Tshuva he brings only the words K'Mol Arz Deis Havai. But in Hilchos Malachim he adds also the end of the pasuk Kamayim Gam Mechasim. So why the difference? But although in the Psikha, I think he said he's going to explain the end of the Rambam, but here he's still comparing to Hilchos Tshuva. Yeah. So to answer all these questions, what are the three things? What is it? The two things, the Dvar Mastum and which is not included in Das Beiram. Why does he have to tell me Kamayim L'Mechas, and why does he have to tell me Fikech Adam? Is this Borlel? Rambam, we explained earlier with this, the Rambam said that the fact that a person might come to think and he's going to have an elevation in his knowledge, he'll come to a higher level of recognition of Hashem, and he realized that his any motzui shekamanos b'zeh she'adim yesh l'shtadel sheyala das Hashem yisbarach tzadatzmi u'mushlim mikol geder v'sug motzui shel nimtzoyim. We explained that the real comprehension in the Rambam means v'im yala das is not maybe, he should put an effort to come to recognition of Hashem that the Eibusher on his own is really beyond any type of existence that we know. But being that this level of any motzi that the Eibusher is not any type of metzias, negates the being of the world. There would be no place for anything to become to existence. And the Torah mitzvah and the concept of Torah mitzvah is on the contrary. To impact the world that it should be the way Torah wants, it demands that there should be a world. Therefore, together with the knowledge that we have to realize that the Eibush is any motzi, that you can't define the Eibush, that the Eibush is beyond definition, beyond description, beyond being a source of anything. So we have to also know that there's the Eibush there comes down to be also a source of creations. And he said of the emotion of a big chacham, even when he speaks to a small child, he still stays the chacham gadol, like the Rebbe is speaking to us. Even though what he says to us, lav dafke, is the Rebbe's expression the way he is. Yeah, kapashut. But afal pikein, the Rebbe is the Rebbe. By shaydiah shoeini motzu tzrichli is biyachad umuchedes by yidiyah sheyesh sham motzu rishon v'mamtzi kol nimtza. The knowledge of knowing that the Eibush is any motzi has to be together and one with the knowledge that the Eibush is a source of creation. Which through this the person will be a metzias. Together with being a metzias, he'll know and feel the level of any motzi. Which this combination of these opposite things, one hand we're saying the world has no place to be. Because the Eibush is higher than being a source, higher than being anything, any definition, any descriptive existence. Together with that, we say that the Eibush is a source of existence, he's a source, he's a creator, he makes, he creates. So he says, how can you have both of these things be together? And this he says in the order 109, Shleimar, Shiskal Shnein Yonem Elu Motzui, Ve'eni Motzui, Ve'eni Shalamayla Mishneim. Is dafka something which is beyond them. It says, what means the scholars means that b'shas he feels that I'm here, I realize that there's something beyond me. But the Eibush lowered himself down to be a source for me. So there's two concepts in Hashem. How could these both things be together? So he says through a concept which is higher than both of them. V'losh nachsid is motzu. The Eibush is a motzu. He's a mocker to memali. Mamtzi kol nimtzi is memali. Einei motzu is saviv. Chiburim yachad or the atzmas. Who could connect the two? So the Rambam is a Beloshon Rambam. You could hint this in the Rambam also. Everything's hinted in the Rambam. Even this connection of Motzi and Motzi comes from a higher level, comes from the Rambam himself. Because the Rambam writes, they say Zamudah Chochmah Shtevis Havaya. Brought from the son of the Rambam. Who Pchinas Amitas Atzmas. Havaya is Amitas Atzmas from Samavov. He say Zehu Kelu Mechaber. And this foundation, this, you say the Chochmah is the Savaya, which is the essence of the Eibush, the Havoya Pshuta, the existence of Hashem, which is beyond a way of existence, even higher than being higher, like it says in other places in the Rebbe's Torah. So here we're saying this is a Keil Mechaber, Leida Shesha Motzishin, B'Yalada Shoyne Motz. They'll come on our 115. Come to there. Since in the time of Mashiach. There'll be the. You say Zamudah Chochmah is the foundation, the marker for this, for what he's going to say further is Atzmos, yeah. Say yeah. Whatever it means, yeah. In Pashtus it's saying that you say it is Leida Shesha Motzishin. You're saying there's a you say to this Leida Shesha Motzishin. Or that you say what the Chochmah is laid up v'im yalaladas. So we may have both together. Both together is through Atzmos. That's you say that's through you say this is one of the Chochmah, Shem Havaya, which is Amitzah Atzmos. Yeah. You say this laid up v'im yalaladas, and that is how you have both together is through Atzmos. Fine. Since in the times of Mashiach, we'll know the Eibush in the ultimate level. Let's learn order 110. First it says, Yisrael chachamim g'deilim beis v'yedim dvarim astum gimel v'yasigu das beim. Ki v'zeh nirmeze hashleim zidis Hashem chol gimel chelkei aseichel chacham bin v'das. Chachamim g'deilim chacham v'yedim das v'yasigu asoge the bin. So the Chore, you have to understand, why does he say first yedim before yasigu? So he says, mashmaktim yedim v'yasigu v'shev yedim dvarim astum v'nal yesem v'yasigu das beim. K'tlekama mifnim v'ara 116. Why does he say it first? Because it's greater. He's going to say later. We'll soon see. So he says, since we're going to know God in the ultimate level, now this expression, this long lotion that the Ram uses, with 3 inyanim that we said over here, is stressing the 2 extremes that is going to be in knowledge of Hashem when Mashiach comes. Yein dvar mastumim is the idea shoeini motzi sosum. Shein zebchnes motzi v'levim etzis umid dvar mastumim. To know the fact that the Eibush is beyond any description is dvar mastumim. Amla ti idea v'agil beim gazeh shlei tov yisodem she's batam mitzus. But even though so that he's knowing such things, it's not going to make that he should lose himself. Kim ti kfikir adam. That itself is going to be kfikir adam. Now the Rebbe says further, why is it taka going to be? They should be able to handle this level of Einei Motzui. Although the level of Varmastumim, which that's the level of Einei Motzui. That means the Eibush which is beyond any description, any definition, we should lose ourselves. It negates any entity, any Eifna Metzius. Nothing could come to existence. The answer for this is, it's one and united with the level of Yasigu Das Beirim, to know the Eibush, how he is the source of creation. So since it's connected with Mamtzi Kol Nimtza, therefore he has an existence. He's not going to be negated. His existence is not being negated. So it's one long sentence. So that's the chid. This answers all the questions, basically. He wants to say that we're going to know the things that are stumim. He wants to tell us that that's not going to be shel the Mitzvah Adam. He says it's going to be kvikei Adam. Why? Because it's going to be through the Yasigu Das Beirim. We're going to know the Eibush, how he's being a source for existence, and since he's a source, and it's connected, this part of Hashem, which is a source for creation, which gives place for being, is connected with this part of Hashem, which is beyond any existence, beyond any Mitzvahs. Since they're connected, so in the place where he is a Metzias, he's able to fathom and understand the Eibush, which is beyond any Metzias. If there would be 2 separate entities, or be other, or you understand the Eibush is a source to Eilumis, then I'm here. When I realize that the Eibush is beyond being a source of the world, then I lose myself. I expire.
Before we talk about Matzah and Matzah, we said that they were connected.
Yeah. We said it's connected. That's why. We said that it's connected. That's over there. We brought it off a kete. We wanted to say that the world could be negated, even though the world's source is from the level of Motzui. So how could any Motzui B'chal relate to the world? The world has its own source, it's Motzui, and the reality of the world isn't coming from Motzui. It should be everlasting. So we said no. In the world is behelam atchuna of Einei Motzui. You remember? So he wanted to say that the Einei Motzui Faket is negating the world. Now he's bringing out, since it's, but on the other side, since it's connected with Motzui, so it can never really negate the whole world, the whole existence of the world, because it's connected with Das Beirim. A lot of orders over here. Let's see some orders. So this already answers all the questions, basically. He answered most of the questions he asked till now, besides the question of Hilchos Shuvah. Ask, why does he have to say Kfikir Chomos Negeya? Because he wants to say why we're not going to go lose ourselves. And why does he have to say what's Das Beirim and not what's Dvarim Astum, which is not Yasigu Das Beirim? It's beyond, it's Einei Motzui. Now we know why he has to say 3 levels. Yesigu Das Beirim, Yedin Dvarim Astum is Einei Motzui, Yesigu Das Beirim is Motzui, and it's Kfikir Chomos, we'll be able to handle it. We won't lose ourselves. Let's see the Lashenis in the orders. Okay, 111 is a little out of this hadran. We'll learn it. Is barbe even nachren. Other place we explain it. The dvar mastum and das beim is not mamalav sev, rather not. But in any what's right. Shakavana bestel shen dvar mastum das beim lushnein yonim meiser merkov meiser bedeshes. Ayin shom. So there it's on a lower level altogether. It's about the nivroyim, the meiser merkov, the meiser bedeshes. Okay, we're going to go to 112. So that the in of Motzi Rishon, Eine Motzi is from Dvar Mastumim. But Pizel, Yesh Lahaz, Bar Lashon B'yedim, B'lei B'yedim, B'dubus Lashon B'yasigu. Why is it B'yedim? Ki Yedi V'agil, the Eine Motzi Boka maybe Derech Mamela. Because to know actually the Eine Motzi that Eibshi cannot fathom is not something we could figure out. La'achar G'dim says, B'nis V'chul B'apchin the Motzi V'yasigu, then B'yedim they know it. Not B'yedim, they'll work on knowing it. It comes. Well, there is over the Shbi'in, the Motzi Nokt Lashon Leida. It's going to come to the person. It's interesting enough that over here he's saying this in Yonam about Mimali and Seviv. That Seviv is coming in a way Me'elov, Kilo Me'elov. When a person works to know the Eibshter, how much he could know, then suddenly he realizes that whatever he knew is just the way the Eibshter relates to him, and really the Eibshter is beyond it. So it dawns on him. In other places, the Rebbe says the same thing in later Hadran, in Hadran Involved. The Rebbe says, maybe we'll learn it, that that when you say that it dawns on the person without his Aravanya, when we're speaking about higher than Memali v'Seviv. Seviv is also these are shlila. We could work on it, but the Eibshter himself is just something we can't demand the person should have it. It's Amunah Shalom Shalifti Atzivu. It's beyond the essence of the Eibshter, which is beyond any commandment. We'll get to it at a different time. In a different hadran, in hadran memvov. This is memhei, muga memhei, lamed hey, but muga memhei. Next year after that, he was said America hadran. They said whatever. Okay, we'll get to it. 113. That the in of any motzi shouldn't be mevatel the person. Al derech benazi v'zem shtichs l'paris v'heitz itzchulu. That it affected them, or his meheis, it's umes, it's nivga. Fine. Now he says weiter that even though, why is it that dvar mastumim, even though mitzad gidrehu, it negates the person's entity. So what does he say? Shelos Mtzius Adam. I'm not understanding the other 114. Okay, we'll skip for now. So it says the reason why, even though it negates the person's entity, the level of dvarim avstum, the b'china v'einei motzoi, and it's not going to negate it. Why is it going to be? Because it's going to be together with yesigu das beinim, with the motzi. So he says over here in order 115, why is it that they work together? How can I have together these two concepts? Yedin dvarim avstum yesigu das beinim, why the chachamim gdelim. Why Chacham Gdelim gives this inyan that you should be able to connect Yedin Dvar Mastum Yasig Das Beinam. The Dugmas Achibur, the Motzi Bein Motzi, they say this. Why is it? The true entity of Chochmah is that a person totally puts himself aside. The true Chochmah. Not Chochmah is the first shine, but the real idea of Chochmah is to put myself totally aside and let the Eibshter shine the way he is. Shaykh la'atzmus. The true entity of putting himself totally aside is Shaykh la'atzmus. It's Echad Emes. I guess he's learning over here the pshat that it's beyond any. It's the Eibshter himself. Echad Emes, the ultimate truth. Therefore, it could connect the two opposites, save and memale. Now he's going to say, what's das beidom? The level of the understanding of the level of emotzi rishon. So Pisa Yuvan now understands that she got mapchin the any motzi not the vorim astumim. Because motzi not the vorim das beidom. Why is it that when it comes to any motzi, he says in vorim astumim? Before in the order he says why it says yedim and the asigu. Now he says why over here it says vorim astumim and here it says das beidom. So he says like this: "Kibchinas motzu ish yesh le yachas v'dimun u'metzias hanivroim shaychlim reiz get of a tear kameshu b'nimtzoim das beidom." We're speaking about the level of motzu, which has some connection to the creations that he made. You could say some definition about him. Das beidom, you could describe him. When it comes to, we'll skip the brackets for a second. Kibchinas eini motzu shemufshet u'mushel migedra metzias shalom nimtzoim. Ain't shaychlim get of a tear shab'nimtzoim. Elo dvorim stam. You could just say it's things. We have no teir. Al derech the chilek of the one of the zbeinim in the chassidus about the difference how you call the Eibishter's Hashpor. We called Eir or Shefa. And the Kabbalah called it Eir, and the Chekrim called it Shefa. Why do they call it Shefa? Because the Eibishter's Hashpor, you can't define it all. It's just Shefa. But to say Eir is already a teir. Even though we say teir has all the flaws of teir, Eir is Eminatzem, Eminam, or whatever, all the flaws you want to bring out in Eir. But the Chekrim, they wanted to bring out that you can't define the others over here. He says by the Eibishter, by any motzi, you can't define him at all. So he says dvorim astumim. He brings weiter das beidam in the signal nachher. La'oslav yelimut teres asfiris. V'leirik idea close b'mitzias Hashem. Not just to know generally that the Eibishter exists. Well, actually, no. I never saw this in Chassidus, this word teres asfiris. Okay, fine. Okay, whatever. The Yom Gamkein will now also see Mashagav Varmastumam V'yedim. Now we'll have another explanation. By Varmastum it says V'yedim Gabidas Beidem V'yasigu. Okay, I have them idea, so it's not about the Yedim and V'yasigu, the different of the way that it comes by Mamela or comes through or Harvanya. Rather, he says why over here it says Yediyah here says Asoge. Okay, I have them Yediyah Asoge Asoge Yimuchshus Mamash. Yediyah Afshar Stliyas Rak Asoge Mishueres. The Ramasal Kimplay Tovshin Perek Beis. He says over here, Hasoge, you understand something, it becomes clear to you. Shenkin idea, it's possible it should be Hasoge Mushaeres, you know about it. Not exactly, it's estimate. Because it's not really known so well. Something which is relatable to us. You can say, Vyasi, we understand it clearly, because it's Mamalik Lam, it's our source, it's what we're made out of, it's our makeup.
So you know only according to your level, you can always
True.
more and more.
Aber man kann wissen, man kann verstehen Memale kann verstehen. That's what it says in Chassidus, that Memale, it's so real to the person that it's like he sees it. Of course, the person could be oblivious to that as well. It's a level of coming to the recognition. Sometimes we're in, sometimes we're out. Yeah, there's times in the person as well. 117, he said the level of Motzi Rishon is Mamtzi Kol Nimtza. So he says, L'chein Shinim L'chein Liftiz L'Odatz Hashem, L'eisa Kol Eilam Kol L'Odatz Hashem, Kloshna Kosu Shehevi Daya As Havai, because that's Beidam, Ki Beidam Meida Al Pchinas Motzi Rishon Mamtzi Kol Nimtza. He brings some Samachez, really it's the 9 Beis also, I think. The Sefer Mar Tov Samachez, it says, the Eini Chil Mechanis is Bar B'Shum Kinui, Ki Mashu Hu Beidam. You cannot define Hashem only with the level of Beit. Why? Kishem Beit ain't a kin of a teir. It's not a description who he is. V'umeir al amitzatmus is showing on the essence of Hashem. Avrei later, Horace 36 in Shem Avaya, that too. That what does it say in Horace 36? I guess. But in Amol State Chassidus, that the only way to express Hashem is.
It's not his whole. I think it's not to say great rose.
So that's what he's saying. He's saying it's a kasha is this in the order is this. In the Shula Agilin is a kasha what he says in the Pnim. The Einig No, the Churi is being a shaila. He's being Samachas as mashma that the only thing you could say about Hashem is Beir. Why? Hashem Beir any kind of a tear. It's not saying what he is, it's saying what he does, so to speak. Or the only one that could do it is the Eibishter himself. The only one that could create is Hashem himself. Avarei Lord 36. What does it say over there? Havoya Amitis. Because there's two ways to look at Shem Havaya. Shem Havaya sheyesh be'esis. It's Eis Shem Havaya, and there's Havaya which is Havoya Amit Shem Sus Matzmus Ein be'esis Havaya. That's what he says. I'm not sure exactly what he's saying. I'm not sure if he's asking a question. First, it's mashma from the Pnim order. He's saying that why is the Ramam say over here Das Beidom, because he wants to say about the level of Mamtzi Kol Nimtza. Mashenga, the level of Havaya could mean also or this expresses the idea of Motzi Mamtzi Kol Nimtza. So, maybe he's just saying that really the Rambam is hinted also what it says in Samaches. It's not just he's a creator. It's really this is the essence of Hashem. That nothing you cannot define Hashem in any other way other than the yin of Beir. So Beir really is alluding to the higher level of Hashem. It's showing the essence of Hashem. So what does he want from Order 36 in Shem Havaya? That Shem Havaya could mean two things. And over there is mashma that the Shem Havaya Mahava is lower than the Havoya Hamit is the essence of the Eibishter. But he's asking for the B'Sefer Mordor Shem Havaya is how much Shem Havaya Mlosh Mahava made al Mitzatzos. That's the contrary. The Mahava shows in the essence of the Eibishter. So it's a question. He's asking on himself, is this? First he's saying that Shem Havaya, which shows the Mahava, that is showing an essence of the Eibishter. So if he wants to hint in the words based on what this says in Sefer Tavashamaches, he could have kept the words Havaya. It's Mimon Nafshech. If he wants to say the word of Shalmaches, that there's no way to define Hashem rather than the yin of Beir, because that's only one that could create his atzmas and Sham Be'erech, yeah. So then you could have said already Shem Havaya also, because Shem Havaya also has the in Samaches explains that Havaya Mlosh Mahava shows on Mitzatzmas. He could have said that, that's Hashem. Havaya is Havaya, and if it's Havaya, if Das Beidamut is alluding to this in, if I want to tell you, because ain't Shum Teiro made al Atzmusi, only this.
And he could have just kept.
He could have kept Shem Havayas. He didn't gain anything by saying Das Beidam. He's not hinting at a higher level than if you would say Shem Havaya. Here he's learning Beidam means Dag of Matzah. In Samaches he learns something else. Lafi Samaches he could have said also Shem Havaya, wouldn't make a difference. But since here he's speaking about the Matzah, therefore he kept the level of Beidam, I guess. And Havaya not like in Samaches, that's Nosh Mahava, which is made al Mitzatzmes. Rather, the in of Havaya is the in of Mahava as the lower level of Mahava, not the in of whose Mahava only Atzmos could be Mahava. Fine. Now he says, since it's connected, therefore it's not going to negate the person's existence. He says, Lahor Shagam bin Yonah Mashiach in 118, Lahor Shagam bin Yonah Mashiach of Yimesa Mashiach. Fahrt Ramam Beisuk mit Dvarim Mufurashim Gluim Aprotim Shnifrutu Sham Pergid Aleph und Dvarim Stumim Shebehem LeYeda Adam Echiyu Ad Sheyiyu Sham Pergid Beis Loch Beis. So you see that what, that in regard to Mashiach, what he has to do is this. There's revealed things and hidden things. So you see that Dvarim Mastumim, we don't know exactly what's going to be. He says this that I said it's a mashal is not for certain. So again, we're not sure exactly what's going to be. Dvarim Mastumim.
If you would know what it is, it would be Mashiach.
It will be Dvarim Gluyim. The Rambam wants to say everything has Dvarim Gluyim, Dvarim Mastumim. As ich habe das. Pisa Yuvan Gamki, Masharam, maybe can Gam see my cause. Now I understand in Islam why the Rambam has to write the end of the pasuk in the Rambam. Kamayim Yom Chasim. Why? Because the Pirsha Kosov Kamayim Yom Chasim Kosov Mefarshim. Mefarshim explain what does it mean? Water covering the sea bank is like this. The place of the water is called Yam. It's a sea bank, and the water that fills it up, that you don't see the ground. That's the Maim Kamachasim. Omar Kamesha Kol Hayam Mechusah B'Maim Kenya Kula Mechusah B'Moloim B'Deya. This is the unfortunate. So Dov explains, and the Radak, he says over here, explain that the world will be so full with Abish's knowledge, we won't have our entity will be covered totally. What does this mean in practicality? Just like the riverbank doesn't, the sea bank doesn't lose itself by the water filling it up. It's only that it's not seeing them, it's not empty for itself. So too it's true in the fact that the world will be filled with knowledge of Hashem. So too is true. When we say that the earth will be filled with knowledge of Hashem, that the knowledge of the Eibusher will fill the land is not going to negate the mitzvahs of the land. It'll be covered with the knowledge. It's going to exist. It's going to be covered and bottled to the Eibusher. It's not going to be. It's going to be, but it's going to be totally bottled to Hashem. So that's what the Ram says. This connects also with the deen of motzi and any motzi. Since it's going to be not just motzi, we're going to be also any motzi, so maybe we're going to lose ourselves, but we're going to still exist because they're going to be connected with the level of motzi. Why do you use the yam? Why couldn't I say nor? Although it's true, the same thing is true also when it comes to a river, not just by a sea. Because this case, this example that he brought from the water of a sea expresses it. Why? Because water of a sea has no edge, no boundaries. Even though that they're infinite, they don't negate the being of the place, which is the sea bank, which is limited. Although that limit and infinite are two opposites. It's not mamish, but like part of it himself. Because it's chibur tipis, yeah. Yeah, and the way in our world it's Ma'am Shem himself. It's called Nalach. Although the knowledge in time of Mashiach will be even in hidden things, beside this level, nothing else could come to be. Still, this won't negate the person's knowledge. Will be according to our capacity, according to what we could handle. Canal. This advantage, this greatness that's going to be in knowledge of Hashem in the time of Mashiach, which is going to be in the times of Mashiach, which is going to be like the water of the sea, which is water which has no end. To know godliness in a way which the yin of any motzi that's not being able, that we cannot fathom. And still it's going to be this connects with the Chiddush and Torah will be revealed through Mashiach, which is the inner parts of Torah, which is infinite. And that's the same idea that we're going to know the Eibishter in a way of Bli Gvul. Gali Shabbatay Lis will best be on Elam Rebekins Gvul Vashesh Bapel Libel Vidis called Terabam Shachosov Giluya. The revealed parts of Torah, since it's called in worldly matter, so it's limited. Since until you have such a concept to know the whole Torah. The way it's revealed. Of course, you can always dribble different tiffer. But the way it's revealed, you can know the whole thing. But the hidden parts of Torah, which is higher than being called into the world, but the hidden parts of Torah, which is higher than coming into the world, even the way it's revealed, the way the Eibshter was mamshech, the Eibshter related it, it's also the of bligvul. The Eidim was another concept is. So what are we saying here? This concept of knowing the Eibshter in a way of yam is because it's going to be these gals of Pnimis HaTorah. The Eidim was another difference between the sea and the river is the river doesn't stay in one place, it moves. The river, the sea stays in one place. Therefore, some hold that it has a din of a mikveh. Well, that is a the difference between learning Nigla the Torah, learning Chassidus is how do you go deeper and deeper in Nigla the Torah through Shaka V'Tarya, through questions and answers. You have to lose the first understanding. Just like the river water that moved from the first place and they stormed to a new place. It's not through questioning and not through Shakavataya, rather you have elevations even still in one place. This is also the difference. He brings the order. This is the difference in Talmud Bava and Talmud Yerushalmi. That's why the knowledge of Hashem will be also like the sea. Then will be revealed the level of sea of the Torah, the inner parts of Torah canal. Therefore, so this is the Ram concludes. Just conclude this. The Ram concludes that the days of Mashiach will be knowledge of Hashem like a sea. Because the sea of the Torah, the inner parts of the Torah will be revealed. It won't bring the person to lose his understanding. We'll be able to understand this level of infinite light, infinite Torah. The inner parts of Torah won't make the person lose himself. It will be also revealed. This is like the putting together of the knowledge of the Eibshter, which is beyond description. To the Eibshter, we use the description at the beginning of the book of the Rambam. Same thing here, it's going to be higher than understanding, and still it's going to come into our understanding. The Ein Sof will be coming into the Kecha, since everything is dependent on what we do today, the cause of the schar is the mitzvah itself, which means, in other words, that us doing is bringing this in. To learn Chassidus and this go in a way that we do get it, we understand it. That makes that the fact that we understand Chassidus, the way Chassidus explains it, this hastens the coming of Mashiach, the Torah of Mashiach, which is also going to be, it's going to be beyond us and it's going to come into us. We'll be able to handle it. And so, others over here, okay, everyone can learn it. Their free time. I didn't do it.
You did not.
I did not.